When I was a 15-year-old teenager and interested in nothing more than having fun and wooing girls, I went to a party at a mutual friend's house with my two best friends, Peter and Marcus. There were too many older guys drinking beer, flirting with older girls, and acting crazy. My friends and I soon got bored because we didn't even know many of the people in the space, and everyone treated us like we didn't even exist. Peter tried several times to charm the girls and have an interesting dialogue with them, but all his attempts failed because every girl ignored him. Finally, when we were tired after dancing too much to electronic music and couldn't see much else to entertain ourselves, we decided to just go home. It was 11 o'clock at night, there were no buses on the street anymore, and we couldn't call an Uber because we didn't have enough money for it. We thought for a long time about how to act. The houses of Peter and Marcus were very far, and they had to walk non-stop for 2.5 hours to get there. The closest was my house. If we walked fast, we would be home in 1 hour and 15 minutes. That's why I suggested the boys come with me that night and go to their homes in the morning by bus. They happily agreed. That's why we said goodbye to some newly acquainted people and went home. At first, we walked along the road slowly, talking together and laughing a lot. Peter especially made us laugh the most because he had an amazing sense of humor. That's why he wondered why he couldn't talk to any girl in the area. Marcus then said that this morning, on his way to school from the bus, he saw a dead body with a severed head on the street. It was the corpse of a woman near which the police had blocked the road, due to which the bus had to stop in one place for a long time. It was at this time that he overheard the conversation of unknown people about the escape of a man accused of serial murders from the city's insane asylum, who dressed as a clown in the 90s and killed women walking alone on the street at night by hitting some heavy object on their heads. He didn't believe it at first, thinking it was just a bedtime horror story people made up. But then he saw a police notice posted on a tree with a picture of a clown and the words "Wanted" underneath. Before I heard about the madman disguised as a clown, I remember my father used to follow me when I was a child, when I didn't finish eating my vegetables, and jokingly threatened me that if I didn't eat everything on my plate right now, the head-hunting clown would come to me too. Suddenly, Peter shut Marcus and me up and told us to stop talking about this crap right now and talk about something positive. So we did, and for the next 15 minutes, we talked about beautiful girls and sports cars that we liked. Then Peter and Marcus ran and raced each other. I didn't like their behavior because I was always the slowest in running and I got tired very quickly. At this time, I tried my best to run with the boys, but unfortunately, as always, I fell far behind them. The farther they ran, the faster I tried to run, and the more tired I got. My heart was beating very loudly, and I could not control my breathing. I blamed my lack of energy on my nasal problems because I had sinusitis since I was little and could never breathe well through my nose. That's why I just stopped, started breathing deeply through my mouth, and leaned on my knees with my palms bent at my waist to rest a little. The boys were calling me from quite a distance not to stop and to continue on their way, and they were laughing, probably at me. At that moment, I thought that they had no idea what I was feeling at the moment, so I didn't pay much attention to their shouts. I just stood by myself and took deep breaths. Suddenly, when I looked to my right in the darkness between two private houses which were situated on a hill a little higher than the road, I saw the silhouette of a man. It was very dark there. There were no lights in the houses, so I couldn't see the person's face. At first, I thought it was someone who was just the owner of one of the houses, and I shouldn't have paid much attention to him. But then the silhouette took the first step in my direction, at which point I was very scared because I saw his appearance. It was a clown we've all heard of in this town. He was grinning at me creepily and waving his hand as if to greet me. At this point, I was ready to forget about my tiredness and racing hard and just run as fast as I could as far away from this clown as possible. But suddenly I felt the touch of a human hand on my left shoulder, which scared me a lot. Thank God it was my friend Peter, who came back from that distance to check if I was okay. He asked me why I didn't continue on the road, and I stretched out my hand in the direction where I saw the clown. Peter told me that he could see nothing but darkness there, and at that time I also looked and saw that the place where the creepy grinning clown had been standing just a moment ago was empty. At this point, Peter laughed and told me that maybe I was so tired that I was already seeing things. After that, we didn't run anymore just like that, We calmly continued on the road with slow steps, and in no short time, we reached my house. When we got home and I sat down on my soft couch, I had a momentary sense of how tired I was, but that feeling soon went away and I just relaxed. For the next few minutes, we continued to talk about different topics, and then we turned on a movie on the TV, which we did not even watch for 10 minutes before all three of us fell asleep. At 3 o'clock in the morning, I was woken up by some strange noise. I slowly opened my eyes and saw complete darkness in the entire living room. The TV, where we had a movie on, turned off by itself after such a long time, and I forgot to turn on the light in the corridor, which is why the whole house was very dark. I didn't pay much attention to it because I was very sleepy, but before I closed my eyes and went back to sleep, I saw a clown standing by the bathroom door. This clown looked the same as when I stopped in the middle of the street from exhaustion. He was standing in my house this time, looking at me and smiling eerily, although his smile was not like a smile, because it was something darker and more sinister. The clown took the first step in my direction, crunching the floor under his feet, then the second step and started to approach me. I couldn't make a sound at first, so I just looked at him with scared eyes and I didn't know what to do. Then the clown grabbed the candlestick that was on the dresser near him. The candlestick was quite heavy, which meant that he needed this item as a skylight for us. Edward, who was lying next to me on the sofa, was gently patting his leg to somehow wake him up, although he was so tired and so deep asleep that he did not react to it. The clown was getting closer and closer to me, and the distance between us was very little. Suddenly I heard the sound of screaming and slamming the door from downstairs, which scared me even more. But not only me, the clown was also scared and immediately looked back. My heart was filled with relief when I saw police officers coming up the stairs with pistols pointed at the crazed clown, shouting that they would shoot him if he moved. The clown was standing with his arms folded, and his face had such an expression that he seemed to be laughing at everyone who was around him. Finally, the clown was arrested and sent back to the asylum. He killed 4 people in the last 2 days. As we later learned, one of the neighbors saw Rue sneak into the beating house and immediately called the police. Thank God they came early. Otherwise, I don't know what would have happened to me, my friends, and my parents. It's been a long time since that story, but I'm still afraid to sleep alone at night, and every time I have a nightmare, I wake up with the fear that that crazy clown has escaped from the asylum again and is hiding in some dark corner of the house.